Okay, so this is how I've actually generated six figures in profit for myself at 18 by helping my prospects overcome their limiting beliefs on my sales calls once I actually tell them the price. Now, here are some screenshots of payments that I've collected. I've used Stripe, I've used Fanbasis, I've used What. They all do a very similar thing, which is collecting cash when you close the deal. Now, all of this has allowed me to travel the world at 18, where I was 17 when I started this journey, doing whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. Here I am on a yacht in Miami. Here I am in a Lamborghini in Dubai. This is my boy's penthouse in Miami. All of this only possible because of high ticket sales. Now, this is my sales process. If you check any of my earlier videos, you'll see me go in this a bit more detail. But today I wanted to talk about the objection handling part of the call. Now, you'll typically only ever get three core objections, although there is a fourth one which can come up. So the three objections which you can get is the partner objection. And this is non-negotiable, by the way. Partner objection, I need to think about it, and then a price objection. Now, the most important thing with objection handling is you need to understand what the objection actually means. Think about it like an onion, right? You have to peel back the layers of the onion to figure out what's actually behind it. Like if they say to you it's too expensive, it might be that they've never spent that amount of money online before. And maybe they don't have the money in their bank account. It may be that they are scared to spend the money. There's so many things that an objection can mean, and it's your job just to peel back the layers and to kind of diagnose it. So the partner objection is again, and the most important thing is isolating these objections. So you basically say, okay, objection aside, what do you think? Well, objection aside, would this actually be something you do? Because what it does, especially for things like the price objection, is it takes them away from price-based thinking and moves them towards results-based thinking, which is what you actually want. So the partner objection, that's not a problem at all. I mean, I actually respect the fact that you'd want to go and speak to your wife. Like, what do you think? Okay. And if it's the think about it objection, this is a smoke screen. You cannot take this for face value. So you kind of got to say it's not a problem. I guess like what would you actually be looking to go over, which we haven't already discussed in the call, and then they'll tell you. They'll go, oh, it's actually just a lot of money, or the price objection. Say money aside, do you feel like this could actually get you to where you want to go? Yes, cool. Just like that, you've taken them from price-based thinking to results-based thinking, which is where you want them to be. Now, there are basically four main limiting beliefs. There's price, value, trust, and then self-belief. So as I said, price can be the logistical price that, it's just, I don't have the money in my account to be able to make this investment. Then we have comparison based, which is comparing two things. Now you can say something like, hey man, like going into the winter, like should your priority be finding the cheapest leads? Or should it actually be getting the consistent source of leads that you need to hit 80K a month, when it slows down? Exactly. So you got to reframe it. And then a value-based objection. Now, this can obviously if you're not selling a good product, but also that you haven't built up urgency, because urgency and value, they are intrinsically linked. And what urgency you build, the higher value your product actually is. Now, trust, right? There's two types of trust objections. There's belief in the legitimacy of the offer. Now, this isn't really something that you can do as a salesperson unless you're actually pitching them in the call. A great way to pitch, especially for, legitimacy-based offices like lead services, is a three-pillar system, and you show them the lead below. So you show them how the target sort of profile goes from the first contact, every single step they take, through the ads to GHL, to the automations, to the conversations tab, to the call, to the booking, to the everything. You show them exactly how your client or how they would actually convert the leads, and you make sure that they understand it. They need to understand how it actually works. Now this one's a little bit trickier, but it's the belief that they will actually achieve the result. Now, this can be belief in themselves, right? It can also be belief that they can actually change. Now, these two are pretty easy to overcome, because what you really have to kind of make them understand is that I get it. You're scared. It's human psychology. Like, I'm not going to blame you for it, man. But like, what we got to kind of just think about is like the way that we have been making decisions, the results that's gotten you, that's got us to where we are today, right? And if we keep making decisions that way, like, are we going to get different results, or are we going to get the same results? And they'll say, no, I'm going to get the same results. And then you're going to say, cool, man. Like, and I know that you jumped into school because you want different results. And like, as your coach, it's my sort of responsibility to ensure that you actually get the results, which you're looking for. So do you feel like I would recommend that you keep kicking the can down the road, keep worrying if it doesn't work? What if this happens? What if this happens? Or would you think that it would be my priority to actually help you get to where you want to go and actually take the action? They'll go, oh yeah, it's your priority. It's just a lot. I just don't know. What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? And you can reply with something like, I get it, man. Like, what you're looking for is guarantees, but there is no guarantees. The only guarantee is that you actually show up every single day, that you actually put in the work every single day to achieve the goals that we've talked about. Like, are you committed to that? They go, yeah, I'm committed. I just don't know. And what that does is it takes that, what if it doesn't work, and it makes it their fault that it wouldn't work. There's another way that I sometimes like to say this, and it goes, there's always going to be, 80% of people who get the same results. There'll be 10% who get the best results, like unbelievable. And then there'll be 10% who don't get the results that they actually were looking for. And it's purely up to that person what results they get, because the program is the same for all of them. So I guess, like, are you committed to being in that, maybe even that top 10%? Because that's up to you, brother. I can't tell you how the results will be. I can give you the materials. I can provide you with the training, but it's you that's going to be showing up day in, day out, closing these deals. Like, is that you who's actually going to do this? And they'll go, yeah. And then you go like, all right, cool, man. So I get it. You're scared, but we really just got to look at like the person that we want to be. This is called the duality of the persona, right? And it basically just goes, the person that you want to be, the person who's making 50,000 a month as a high ticket closer, who has all the things that we talked about, who's providing for his family at a higher level. You must sell an identity, by the way. Don't forget. Who's providing for his family at a higher level. Like, how would he look at this decision? Like, would he look at this decision in terms of like, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't get the result? What happens then? Or would he make the educated decision? Well, like, what's going to give me the best chance of actually getting to where I want to go, being able to support my family at a higher level, and everything else we talked about on the call? And they'll say, no, he'd make the educated decision. And then you can say, cool, man. So like, what are you going to do? And they'll go, I should do it. Are you sure? You don't have to, man. Like, you can just keep doing things the way that you have. Genuinely, like, you don't have to do it, man. Like, I'm not forcing. Like, is this actually something that you want to do? Yes. And that's super powerful. This is another little thing. Like, in objection handling, because remember, they can still leave the call at any point. That's the thing. Like, they can just leave the call anytime. So even if you can get them to admit to something, you want to follow it up, right? Are you sure? You don't have to, man. Like, not everyone has to, man. Like, you don't have to do this. They say, cool, man, what are you going to do? I'm going to do it. You sure? You don't have to. And when they then say yes again, you are in. There is nothing they can do to escape from that. They cannot get out of that. Because they just double. Again, humans are congruent. They don't like to go against themselves. They don't like to lie, especially they don't like to lie to trusted authorities. You are a trusted authority. They don't want to lie to you. They don't want to lie. They respect you. They see you as someone who has everything which they desire. So they're not going to lie to you. And this is a great way to reframe that. Now, the thing about objections, though, is that when an objection comes up, it's usually a combination of all of these. And that's why you have to peel back the layers. You have to go, cool, man, what's really behind it? A price objection could actually be a trust objection. A trust objection could actually be a price objection. You have to go, cool, man, what's really behind that? Oh, I don't know. I mean, if you really thought about it though, it's just a lot of money to give out online. Or, I've never done something like this before. Ooh, so that's actually a self-belief objection, right? And once you figured out that core objection, then you can go in, right? And you can start handling it, that beast. And then you reframe it, right? And again, you always, the first thing you want to do is bring them back to the results, right? So it's like, pray about an objection. You take them through, make them realize that, it's not what they thought it was. And then you could basically say, God aside, man, like, do you actually see the value in this? Or if it's a price objection, cool, man, price aside, like, is this actually something that you do? If it's a trust objection, okay, like, your wife aside, man, like, if she was standing here 100% ready to go, like, would this actually be something you do? Yes, cool. And, that's where, that's where the magic comes from. Now, I have a little word track just because it's super duper powerful, and it will just show you a little bit of the kind of etiquette to use when actually on these sales calls. So it starts with your objection, right? Now you got to figure out, is it a smokescreen? Now a smokescreen is, can I think about it? I need to talk to my wife. Uh, I have bills coming up this week. I have a project that I want to pay. X, Y, and Z. Anything like that isn't really a real objection. Like if they say to you, "Hey brother, like can I just pay with this weekend?" and you go, "Come on, man, that's not a problem." I guess like what's really behind that, man? And they'll say some bullshit. They'll say some fucking rubbish. You go, "Oh man, like respectfully, like is that actually the case, or is something like that?" Because then I can get you on board it some more. Like what would need to change between now and then, so this would actually be a go. And they say the price, and you go X, Y, and Z. Cool, brother. It's like every day that we wait, it's more expensive. Yada yada yada. Worked well, right? But anyway, smokescreen, yes. Now this is super duper important. You always gotta accept their objection and recognize it. Now this is like kind of NEPQ, but it's saying, cool man, that's not a problem. I completely understand. Yo, I mean, I respect you actually for saying that. And it basically just completely lowers sales resistance. And this is pinging, right? You're coming down to their level and you're going back and forth with them on their level, and they really respect that. They really respect that. They like that. And then you clarify, right? Sorry, if it is smokescreen, say, cool man, what's really behind that? Okay, I mean, like, if you really thought about it though, you can repeat that like 5 times. If they just keep giving you vague answers, be like, respectfully, man, like that doesn't seem like a reason you would buy. Like, if you really thought about it though, like, what's behind you saying that? And then eventually, when you do get the answer that you're looking for, you want to clarify, right? So again, it's like I said, if it's a price objection, it's a lot of money. Okay, and when you say it's a lot of money, is that just nerves around the investment, or do you actually not feel like this can get you to where you want to go? Because again, like even if you get an answer, you still don't know if it's true until you like close off all the doors. Imagine it's doors. You have to close all the doors until there's only one door left, and you know that that's the real objection, and then you handle that bitch. So you got to clarify, right? Same thing here. You start by clarifying. Because if they tell you straight away it's price objection, you can just go straight into, cool, man, it's another around the investment, or do you actually not feel like the investment can get you in when you go? Then you accept and recognize it. Once you figure out what the real objection is, it's not a problem, man. I guess, like, money aside, though, do you actually feel like you see the value in this? Cool. And then once you isolated it, it comes down to really just three emotions: fear, the fear they'll lose their money, the fear that they won't get the result, um, responsibility, which is actually just like taking that change today, doing things differently. Because you've talked a lot about change, right? The entire call is change, change, change. And now you're asking them to finally take that first step. Some people are scared, man, and you got to help them over that. And that's why sales is about helping people, because they're scared to change sometimes. That's why they give you a bullshit objection. Like so many times, bro, a salesperson will get a smoke screen and they'll just say, cool, cough. And then they lose out, right? Because they didn't know how to handle it. And then the final thing is just complacency. And again, this is sort of linked. It's all the same thing, right? It's just fear of change, honestly. They want to push it down the road because they're scared. They're making the comfortable decision. Now, this is a really powerful thing I like to say is, I get it, man. You're making the comfortable decision. I don't blame you. But what we gotta ask ourselves is like the person you want to be, and then you're in, right? So it's like you basically, it's a super simple process, right? You get the objection, you have to peel back the layers, close off the doors, figure out what is the real objection, then you clarify, Once you're extremely confident that this is their actual issue, then you isolate it. This aside, would you do this? Okay, that makes sense. Now, X, Y, and Z, okay, this makes sense. Is it what you thought it is? Is this actually what's happening? Cool, man. Like, what we got to ask ourselves is like, and it depends. Sometimes there's extra words you can throw in there. If it's a price objection, you can say like, hey man, like, is you not having the money the issue, or is it the symptom of the issue, which is not having the jobs? No, it's a symptom, right? And then once they admit to that, once you make them realize that their objection isn't real, then that's when you then push the sale forward. So the first thing is you get their objection, you reframe it so that it's something that you can mediate, you go straight past. And then what you want to do is you want to say, cool, man, like the person that you want to be, or is everything that we talked about, like how does he look at the decision? Does he keep thinking about, and again, the thing that you use to reframe it, plug it in, because it will make them seem like an idiot, because they just admitted to you, they admitted to your reframe, right? The person, does he keep making decisions X way, or does he actually take a step today, because that's the best likelihood of actually achieving where he wants to go? You do this, you do this, you do this. Cool, man. So what are you going to do? I'll do it. Are you sure? You don't have to, man. Like genuinely, you really don't have to. I will. Okay, close. Now, this is genuinely exactly how I handle objections. There's so much more I want to tell you guys. Can't do it all in this video. You got more advanced reframes. You got two roads, you got analogies, but this is just a great start of the general direction to go, how to get an objection, reframe it, look at the best chance, educated decision. What would that person do? What are you going to do? Are you sure you don't have to? Close. I'll see you boys in the next video. Also, follow me on Instagram, man. It's got hella value on there. I'll shoot you guys DMs, reply to me, whatever. I'm here to help, man, genuinely. So I'll catch you boys in the next one. Go close some deals.